Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Salad Bowl Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Thompson, and today I get to sit down with someone whose relationship with me didn't exactly have the best start. In fact, it started off with us competing on the basketball court, and let's just say it wasn't the prettiest beginning. But over time, what started as competition grew into respect, friendship, and conversations with a lot more layers than either of us probably expected. And that's what the Salad Bowl is all about. Discovering the complexity behind people instead of just settling for the first impression. I'm excited for you to meet Joel and hear his story. If you enjoy conversations like this, be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and help us continue growing this community as we invite all kinds of people to the Salad Bowl of life. Now let's jump right in.
Now, give me my theme music.
You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl. You are now tuned in to the... Listen up, don't care if you about to pass out or you just getting up. You really did your thing with this one, Kevin, gotta give it up. Messages you bring and be motivation to live it up. We out here really normalizing authenticity. Can't be talking all the time cause that mean you ain't listening. I think you look better when you smile, I see you glistening. Communication helping me to see what you envisioning. Yeah, back to the mission then. Whether you black, white, brown, yellow, or green, more can be accomplished as a team. Together the problem is never as hard as it may seem. Lot of captivating convos like Martin telling his dream. We choosing curiosity over certainty. You should certainly subscribe to this one here with some urgency. This a win. Even Callie know. You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl. The Salad Bowl Podcast.
It's the Salad Bowl Podcast.
You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl.
It's the Salad Bowl Podcast.
Yeah, you are now tuned in to the...
It's the Salad Bowl Podcast.
You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl.
You are now tuned into the Salad Bowl Podcast with Kevin Thompson.
Welcome back to the Salad Bowl Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Kevin Thompson, and today I'm super excited about going into this next episode with my new guest, Joel. Joel, thanks for coming to the Salad Bowl Podcast.
Pleasure.
Man, I was thinking about, after my last few episodes, so like where I wanted to take this thing and exploring the complexities of like the world and different viewpoints and things like that, man. And I gotta be honest, like I know we were supposed to shoot a while ago. I asked you a long time ago, but like, you were at the top of my list, man, as far as like something that I admire about you. And I feel like during this episode, we'll be able to explore exactly what came to mind when I thought about you as the next guest, man.
Dope. Appreciate it. Blessing to be here.
Yeah, man. Well, we start every episode off with a segment we call The Harvest, man. And this is where we get to explore you, your upbringing, your roots, because like with anything that we see in the garden, which I feel like you probably would know about, we ultimately have to plant some things. We have to see it harvest over time. And that tells us a lot about what actually produces once we get the product. So can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing, man?
Yeah, born and raised in the tropical paradise of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Wow, tropical paradise.
Yeah. Honestly, I say that jokingly, but Milwaukee in the summer is absolutely gorgeous. It's on Lake Michigan, which is, I think it's something absurd, like 20% of the world's freshwater.
Really?
Is in, it might be all the Great Lakes, but either way, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's so big you can't see the other side, and so it feels like an ocean until you jump in it when it's pretty cold. But the summer's beautiful. There's festivals every week. There's like Afrofest, Indian Summer, Asian Moon, Irish Fest, Italian Fest, just buku festivals every week. And then biggest festival in the world, no big deal, Summerfest in Milwaukee. As you can see, I put on for my city. But yeah, growing up there was dope. The winters were rough, especially before this thing they call global warming back in the day.
Yes.
3 feet of snow. They wouldn't cancel school till negative 30 degrees.
Oof.
I have one distinct memory of like negative 29, and the teachers at lunch, they still make us all go outside.
Are you serious?
It's Milwaukee, baby. And everyone, all 500 kids would huddle up like a big group of penguins. Cool kids in the middle, the scrubs on the outside. I won't tell you exactly where I was in the circle.
You were probably in the middle, bro.
I survived.
Yeah, okay.
But now Milwaukee was incredible. Wisconsin is just like most places, the city and the country is different in terms of the being in Milwaukee and being in smaller rural Wisconsin. I've had a little bit of experience in rural Wisconsin, but mostly grew up in the city. And Yeah, it was a blessing. Have 2 brothers, 1 sister, 2 great parents who are still together to this day.
Wow. So 2 brothers, 1 sister. Are you the oldest? Where do you fall out in that?
I'm the
that bunch?
oldest third child.
Oldest third child.
So I got my older brother, Ben, shout out. He's 8 years older than me.
Okay.
Then Sam, he's 1.5 years older. We're super close, both in age, but also just bond. And then my younger sister, who's 4 years younger, we're also, all of us really are close.
Really, with a 4-year gap between your sister and you being the third, y'all super protective brothers, or like how does that play out? Are y'all super close like that?
I mean, so yeah, in the sense like, I'm not going to let anything happen to my sister, but also like she's a boss. So
yeah.
Didn't really have to worry about her. And yeah, didn't really have to worry about her. So that was a blessing. And then growing up to various different parents, we had cousins living with us from anywhere from like 2 weeks to a year, mostly from our family in Mexico. They would send them up to learn English.
Okay.
And then my brother went down for a bit to learn Spanish. I went down for a bit, but also just living with them in Milwaukee, we learned that like exchange.
So I just found this out about you. I didn't know that you were fluent in Spanish.
Sí, señor. That's yes in Spanish.
But see, I think that's one of the cool things, because how I met you and what I knew about you, I know that you have Jewish roots, and I was like, you can't really. I think you're the story of you can't judge a book by its cover, because if in looking at you, you may think one thing, but in talking to you, finding out about your experiences, you find out something totally different. You said both of your parents they've been together for a very long time. How do you think that impacted your childhood?
So first, blessing having both my parents are amazing in different ways. Blessing having them be together and seeing, but it's not like it was all, roses and chocolate. And so one, seeing them go through high and low points for various reasons, seeing them get through that in ways that they might be proud of in retrospect, that they might be ashamed of in retrospect, but just learning and being people and growing from that. And then seeing to where they made it now. Not that they don't have their own relational imperfections now, but just seeing what they've learned from in the past. And it is cool and beautiful to see where they're at now compared to where they had been. So I'd like to think that I took something from that in terms of approaching a relationship with humility, realizing that like you should striving for perfection is cool, but realizing that ain't gonna happen. And what do you do when you fall short of that? How do you respond in a way that's mature, that's true to yourself, that's true to your partner? And if inevitably at some points you don't respond in a way that's, how do you repair that? And so yeah, it's been a fantastic example, both negatively and positively. Like I said, just like anyone you interact with, you learn from their positives. As a kid, you think your dad is Superman, your mom's Superwoman. As you grow up, you realize they're still dope. But and so that's been really cool of learning about them as not just Superman and Superwoman, but as imperfect humans, and that's okay.
Yeah, man. I've always said that like the Disney Channel or just Disney in general lied to us, right? Because I don't know why we expect, or I think there's because we talk about love and stuff like that, like we think that perfection comes with it. But like, I've never seen a perfect marriage. I've never seen a perfect relationship. Actually, the hard work goes into the bounce backs, the, really grinding through hard times and stuff like that. I've come to appreciate those stories more than love at first sight, we love each other and everything was great, because that's not real life.
Right. Yeah. Well, so luckily growing up, we never had cable, so I never had a Disney family to look at. Our Disney family was The Simpsons, which I feel like is a more accurate representation of. And same way, Marge and Homer are still together to this day. So
They are. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, as far as like school life, man, like how did school look for you? Were you a good student? Yeah, growing up, good student. But what were we looking at growing up?
I thought I was
Milwaukee.
Cool. So, props to my parents. My parents were old school hippies, Vietnam protests. My mother went to school for journalism. She ended up in a circuitous route, was a labor law and civil rights lawyer.
Oh, wow.
And so they were she actually, I don't know the details of the story, so I won't go too far into it, but she fried chicken at the first ever National Black Panthers conference in DC.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's a story in itself right there.
So I got to ask her some more details about that one.
Yeah,
but that's
what a time to be alive.
She incorporated the like first ever co-op in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and just parts of different organizations and whatnot. So that was interesting, just growing up reading literature like them, reading the stories about radicals and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we grew up on the east side of Milwaukee. Milwaukee is, for better and for worse, the most segregated city in the country.
Really?
So it might have changed a little bit now, but it's definitely still up there. It's Milwaukee. I mean, shit, every city's pretty segregated, but especially in the Midwest. I don't know the exact history of it, but in terms of the Great Migration after slavery and Jim Crow, a lot of black people coming up, white flight, just a normal story.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee was just super heightened. So growing up, you only know what you know, and like that was normal. So the east side, all white, south side, all Mexican with like a couple black, couple of Puerto Rican, west side, all black with a little pocket of Hasidic Jews, and the north side, the same.
Okay.
And so we went to school at Lloyd Street School for Global Education. Shout out Principal Harris.
Shout out Principal Harris.
The whole team over there. And so inner city Milwaukee Public School, which back in the day, Milwaukee had all sorts of issues. Highest teen pregnancy in the country, highest incarceration rate, just like a lot of crazy, worst public school system. And but it was really dope to be in this school that, like, although it was part of this messed up system, had a lot of teachers that were from the community that had been there for generations, and it was like a real communal school.
Yeah.
So, and it's cool too, just when you're 4 years old in pre-K, white and black and Mexican, like, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And so, so interesting, just like growing up in a space like that. My parents were very intentional about making sure that we experience different peoples, different cultures, different points of view.
How did you fit in as a student? Were you one of the like studious ones? Because I'll tell you this, since I've met you, Joel, I feel like you're kind of like that chameleon of a person, right? Like you fit in kind of everywhere. Like you said you're fluent in Spanish, but like that's you knowing another language there's more to it. Like we've met at the JCC, which is the Jewish Community Center, but in playing basketball and seeing how you operate, how you talk to different people, it seems like you kind of fit in with everyone. Were you kind of like the same way as a student, or was that a learned type of thing once you became an adult?
So I guess as a kid, I mean, being with myself, my brother, and a handful of other white kids in grade school. So I'm sure subconsciously that kind of, but once again, even when you're 4 years old, you don't really have your speech patterns down yet. You don't really, so it's not like I was talking different or anyone else was talking different. It was just like, that's my partner. This guy's cool. This guy's a dick. That, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And so I think it started kind of just naturally. But then props to my parents. So I had creative differences for sure with teachers and whatnot.
Yeah.
My mother,
I like the way you just put that. I had creative differences.
Yeah. My mother always likes to say, so it was called a 72, so like 72 hours suspension.
Okay.
And I had the distinction of having the most of those in school, but I also had the most 27s, which is basically just the flip side of that. It's like if you do something really good, if you help out a classmate, if you something like that, you get a 27.
That's a great idea.
So I had the, little yin and yang.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made a few teachers cry in grade school. And grade school, it was fun. It was fun. And you learn a lot. Like I said, the whole team, I can't even remember all the names of, like I said, Miss Harris, Mr. Steves, our gym teacher. But we just had a 30-year class reunion. I've never went to a high school class reunion in college, but I went to my grade school.
No kidding.
Because it was, and like people who I hadn't seen in years were there. And like, it was just still just this like tight-knit community, which is really dope. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty dope. I actually just went to my high school reunion, and I, to be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to go so well.
Okay.
But it actually went a lot better than what I thought it was going to be, but to see faces, you could tell that people don't change, but they evolve like in a certain way. Like you're like, that's the same person,
Right.
But like,
Right.
there's something different about them. They're more mature. It was actually great. Was it the same way for grade school, or would you?
Yeah, I mean, I think because grade school is so much further back, and whatever memories you have mostly are like rose-colored glasses.
Right.
So in high school, I'm sure there's like, oh, I had beef with that. I didn't have beef with that, or at least how I remember it. Oh, except Cleo. And I was just talking to my guy Victor from grade school, who served in Iraq. We might talk about that later.
Yeah.
But we had just linked up. He's a truck driver now.
Okay.
Anyway, so we were reminiscing, and Cleo she was dope. We were homies. We were always class clowns together, but she was also like, you don't mess with Cleo.
Right.
She would, you also don't mess with her mom. Her mom came to school a couple times, got into it physically with some teachers, got into a security guard. And
I didn't know Milwaukee got down like this, bro.
people are shocked to hear Milwaukee, like I said, Milwaukee's dope. Milwaukee's beautiful. Milwaukee's a lot of good, but like Milwaukee's Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And there's a interesting and disheartening documentary, 53206, about the zip code in Milwaukee. It's like the highest incarceration rate, highest poverty rate. It's just like, Milwaukee is a lot of beautiful aspects, but a lot like Milwaukee's got some rough, some issues as well. Really, like I said, everywhere in America.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So Cleo says one day, mostly we were cool, but I said something, I don't know what. She's like, I wish you would come to school tomorrow. So you're not going to do anything. Picks up a pencil and anyways, long story short, next day I go in front of the little heater sometime in the winter, put the heater by my forehead, tell my mom I have a fever of like 109 degrees. I'm like, I can't go. Faked out of school. I think it was like 2 days I pretended I was sick.
No kidding.
Cleo forgot about it. We were cool again after that.
Man.
But yeah, man, you don't mess with Cleo.
If Cleo sees this, I'm pretty sure you just brought up something that's got her going.
That's true. Actually, her name was something else. Wish you the best wherever you're at, Cleo.
Yeah, I love the inside.
Hell yeah.
All right, so we talked about school, man. Like, I know that those grade school years are extremely formative, but that led you to leaving Milwaukee because of course, what I know about you, you got accepted to Xavier University on a track scholarship. Also, another layer to the onion that I didn't expect from meeting you the first time. But how did that happen? How did you come across an HBCU and end up getting accepted to run track for them?
Before leaving for college or anything, just my parents, as I mentioned, it was a blessing just having them put us in different opportunities with different cultures and different. And so when I was 10 years old, my mother, I had a very good friend of mine, Allah, he had three brothers who were deaf. And so I had learned sign language growing up.
Wow.
And they had to leave back to, for some visa issue back to Jordan in the Middle East.
Okay.
And I remember distinctly going in the kitchen and be like, yo, Mom, that's cool if I go back with Alan. And I'm 10. I don't know what that means. And, the only Jordan I know is Michael at the time.
Right.
And she's like, literally, she's at the kitchen table, like doing taxes or something, looks up and was like, yeah, that's cool. And then I went to Jordan for 7 months.
You're kidding.
And so I asked my dad about it 20 years later. And he's like, dog, I don't know. Like, your mom's wild. Went to...
We're talking about the country Jordan.
Yeah.
We're not talking about like Jordan,
Iowa,
Wisconsin.
Nah,
we're talking, wow. So you left with your friends and his brothers.
And his parents and everything. Yeah. And so we knew each other. Like I'd known him for some years and his, their parents and whatnot. Like every day we'd hang out after school and everything. We went to the junkyard, built bikes. We'd play soccer. We'd hoop.
Dang.
And so we got real cool. Go back to Jordan and it's just like this, little Jewish 10-year-old kid in Jordan. And this is like in between the two intifadas. It's right, it's like Israel, then the Jordan River Valley, then Jordan. We're in this small northern city next to, I think, Irbid. I think it was called Beit Taras. It's like dirt roads.
Wow.
Toilet was like a hole in the ground. You eat food, just with your hands. There's no forks or anything. It was a wild experience.
I'm
Learning some
guessing that
Arabic.
there was like a lot of value in even as a 10-year-old, like to be in
nothing
that
I recognized at the time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But like same thing, you're 10. So we're just having fun. We're playing soccer in 120 like blazing heat.
That Middle East heat is ridiculous.
We stop playing only when someone passes out. We're like drinking Coca-Colas out of bottles in the shade of fig tree. Like looking back, it was dope. At the time, though, man, I cried myself to sleep every night.
Oh, really?
I mean, during
Homesick.
the day, it was great. Yeah, I'm 10 years old, and this is before Skype, calling card. Like, there's nothing. I talked to my parents maybe twice.
Wow.
So, my mom made me, like, keep some journal, but I couldn't really read and write at the time. So, like, I was so basic.
Yeah.
It was rough. But you know, it was definitely growth inducing for sure.
100%.
And, like, culturally, it was dope. I learned a good amount of Arabic. And yeah, it was a phenomenal experience.
How many languages do you speak?
So for real, English. Sign language I hadn't practiced since I was 10, so I forgot almost all that. Spanish, Portuguese. I'd lived in Brazil for a bit, and then last year taught myself Italian. We went to Italy for a bit, and so I studied it for about 6 months leading in.
Wow, I've always said that, like, when it comes to languages, I think it's like a special power or a gift to be able to pick up different languages and being able to like adopt. I struggle with learning different languages. I'm not even that great in English, but like I've always admired that with people.
So appreciate it. Less impressive than it sounds. Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian are all Romance languages. They're very similar in regards to syntax, grammar, conjugation, etc. There are definitely differences, but like it's easy, once you grasp one, it's easier to grasp another. But a combination of languages and always being grounded growing up, a love for languages and always being grounded growing up, man, I had time to like study them.
Yeah.
So that was cool. In high school, I was grounded. The only place I could go was the library. And so I had got really interested in the Biafran Civil War in Nigeria in the 60s for whatever reason. And I wrote some like 80-page short story about it, but I did all this research. I actually, this is way back in the day of like AOL, found the email and corresponded with former prime minister, war criminal of Nigeria. He just answered my emails.
No kidding? Wow.
I think I might have his name wrong. This is years ago. Olusegun Obasanjo, something like that.
Wow.
And
Just open day. I'm just sending the email, see what I get. And he responded. That is super dope.
It was wild. But so in that, I went to the library, got the CIA tapes and books, like language learning for Yoruba and Igbo, and started, trying to learn all that to like make the story more authentic.
Yeah.
I don't remember almost anything now, but just languages, to me, it's fascinating of just like a door to step into another portal, like another culture.
Yeah.
The way we were able to experience Italy last year of like, wow, actually just you break down people's barriers immediately, even if you're not fluent.
Yes.
I had a blessing opportunity to go to Thailand a few years ago.
Nice.
And so studied Thai for a few months leading into it. By no means was fluent. Thai is a radically different language.
Yeah.
But especially when you're in the country, like these really, really sparsely populated places I was in, people just saying a few words, a few phrases, really broke down those barriers and like enabled connection, which was dope.
Yeah, man, I've been to Thailand, and I was there with the military, and we were up in like more of the country, not necessarily on the coast. It was a place called Phitsanulok.
Whoa.
And like, if people take a genuine interest to somebody else's culture, I feel like they're pretty warm and inviting. Like they're like, you're attempting, so we'll try to help you out here, or we'll try to meet you where you're at. Rather than, I think a lot of Americans in general are unaware of other cultures and think that theirs is the only ones that exist and that matters. So,
bro, we were in some cafe in Italy, and this American lady, I wish Shannon was here to she was ordering some coffee, and it was like, uno coffee per favore. Yeah. And the lady's just looking at her, and she's like, with asugar. It's just like, and then she thinks, oh, let me yell it at her louder.
Right.
And then the lady responds back in perfect English, and it's just like, lady, what would you like to order? It's just
exactly.
Exactly. America.
My grandmother used to say it all the time. Too dumb to even be embarrassed.
Right. Right. I like that. I like that. Way to go, grandma. But like, you could have learned that on the plane ride over here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Stuff like that is just,
insensitive, I think. A
right?
little
Honestly,
bit.
offensive.
Yeah,
It, like,
100%.
Offensive ignorance.
Man, so you've had a lot of different experiences inside and outside of this country dealing with different cultures. I think that's probably one of the biggest things I've picked up about you, man, and knowing you. It just seems like you're fluent in people, like which I think is an incredible compliment, because I think nowadays, even your story, man, about like what you go to research when you went to the library when you were grounded. I think there's a lot of value in imagination, right? Like your imagination took you on this ride that helped you explore other cultures. I think that's one of I don't want to sound too much like an old head right now, but I think that's one of the things that screens may have been taken, or they're taken away from us right now.
Back
right?
then, I didn't have a TV, a phone, a computer, so like
Exactly.
it didn't hurt. Yeah,
exactly. You had to pick up a book to find out more information.
Right.
You let there's value in even being bored. Like, where does your imagination take you because you're bored? If we're always engaged, I think sometimes we miss out on opportunities to really explore that. But it's really cool to see how your brain kind of works behind the scenes in order to get there. So you talked about, a lot of your different experiences. Dang, that Jordan story was crazy. I still am thinking about that.
Jordan was wild.
But you come back from Jordan, you make it through high school. How did you end up running track? Like, it was at a...
So middle school was cool. Middle school was some more creative differences.
Okay.
So I had to leave that school.
Okay.
High school was cool. Some more creative differences. And my track coach at the school I had got kicked out of was great. He allowed me to run one meet, like after I'd gotten kicked out, in order to get an official time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I wasn't really on the track team. I had just played basketball and soccer, and a brief stint playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was cool to like that. Mr. Turcotte, he actually ran track for France in there. Like, I think he was an Olympic bronze medalist or something back in the 70s. But so then went to an alternative school for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I reconnected with Victor from grade school.
Okay.
He had a tumultuous journey as well. And then ended up graduating from another school, Shorewood High School.
Okay.
New Orleans had always had a special place in my heart. Growing up, we took the train down. There's a direct Amtrak from Milwaukee to New Orleans. And we came when I was 5-6 years old. My father being a professional jazz and blues piano player, just like the sounds of New Orleans and the funky meters, and like that really was attracted me, but also just the architecture, the vibe, everything. And then as I grew up, for whatever reason, I don't know where the connection was, but like New Orleans hip hop was big in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. And so Soulja Slim, the Hot Boys, like all that, 504 Boys. I was, before reggae music found me, I was really into just New Orleans. So anyway, so I was always drawn to the city of New Orleans. I promised myself wherever I went to college would have a Six Flags. And before Katrina, New Orleans did.
They did have a Six Flags.
So got down here 3 weeks before Katrina. Katrina hit. I was actually about to stay in the city, and last minute, like the day of, some friends from Xavier were heading back up to Chicago. Friends are strong. I mean, they were cool. We knew them for a couple of weeks. Yeah. They just knew, and they looked out, knew I was from Milwaukee. So they let me like pile in the car. It was like 8 of us in a 6-seater. And we're driving up, just listening to music, have no idea what's really happening
down in New Orleans.
And then I get back up, my mom gives me a big hug. Oh my God. And then we turn on the TV and see everything that was happening. And so I had family from Mexico who were out in Seattle. 2 cousins who had lived with us just a few years earlier in high school. So they were like, damn, sorry to hear about everything, but shit, come stay with us. So cool. So I went out there, and then at University of Washington, I walked on track team.
Nice.
And got offered a scholarship, which was awesome. It was an incredible opportunity to run Division I big conference track, and then tore my hamstring.
Oof. Which
at the time was tough. I had dreams of going to the Olympics and all this stuff. That wasn't going to happen. And so tore my hamstring, rehabbed for 6 months. And the top of the line, world class. We had like an Olympic silver medalist on our team. We had a Pan Am gold medalist. We had it was the real deal.
Yes.
So, and I'm getting massages every day, working with a personal trainer, getting electrolysis, working the wave pool, all this stuff to get back healthy. I'm 18. I'm really 95% healthy, but I tell myself and my coach and my trainer I'm 100.
Yeah.
Go back, practice a few times. We got time trials. I push it too hard, pop the other hamstring.
Oh no.
Because you're overcompensating.
Yes. Yeah.
So at that point, cutthroat, but also it's a business, Division I sports, and so basically they would have let me get room and board, but I would do out of state tuition.
Oof.
Out of state tuition is like $20,000. So props to Xavier, they held it down and like did an academic scholarship.
Nice.
And so I was able to just finish out at Xavier, no debt, and
That's
while
amazing.
also having the blessing of like having the experience of a Division I, and living with my cousins out there was dope, and it was cool.
Man, it makes me think because I have several family members who have graduated from Xavier. We live right down the street from it. I feel like everybody lives right down the street from Xavier if you live in New Orleans, right? But looking like you, what was your HBCU experience like? Because and I say that knowing that there's multiple levels of you. Of course, I know you're at a deeper level, but is there something that drew you to that school other than the city, or and how was your experience there?
Fair enough. So there's no HBCUs up north in Milwaukee, around Milwaukee. So I didn't know what and not being black, it's not in my culture. I just don't know what an HBCU is. No guidance counselor ever said, think about Hampton.
Right.
And so when I first applied to Xavier, that wasn't the thought. The thought was they have a good education department. And so and I'm sure that acronym had came up, but didn't mean anything to me.
Right.
And then, and then you get the pamphlets and stuff when they're sending you, I'm like, it's a lot of black people. But, I thought trying to be diverse and edgy and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that's what's up. So, I knew before I got there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't much, it wasn't way before or anything. And I still didn't really know what HBCU was in terms of the history of it and with land grant colleges and all this. And the fact that Dillard's also right here and
Yes.
what that. So before going, I knew what HBCUs were, but not really. I didn't understand the cultural importance, etc. And then my experience at Xavier, I've gotten that question a lot, while I'm at Xavier and after, it was fine.
Yeah.
Xavier was dope, but I feel often, that question, I understand why that question is there, but a lot of the people at Xavier were, I feel trying to connect with their blackness because they came from fancier suburbs outside of Houston or DC or New York or Atlanta.
That makes sense, yeah.
And they felt they want to get in touch with their blackness. So it was this and props, good for them. That's what's up, to be able to have a place, a safe space where you can but that's not what I was trying to do.
Yeah, you just
I was
there.
trying to go to school.
Yeah.
So it was, and also growing up, I had been in spaces before where I was one of few white people. So just the fact of my lack of melanin there, that wasn't an issue.
Right.
Honestly, it was I felt more uncomfortable being around the for lack of a better word, bougie.
Oh, yeah.
Which is there's just a lot of that at Xavier. But of course you can hang out with, and that's I'm sure the case anywhere. You go to Tulane, there's a lot of bouginess, Loyola, etc. But I felt it was, so there's in history classes and whatnot, a lot of people that were trying to find out what black meant to them.
Yeah.
And that's, I said, dope for them, and I respect that journey. But obviously, that wasn't the journey I was on.
Right. Yeah. You didn't qualify for that part of it. Yeah.
So and it was cool. It was definitely, I'm sure, a very different. Also, is in retrospect a blessing to have dabbled in all these different collegiate experiences. So in Wisconsin, it's a state law. If you test out of a class in high school, they have to send you to the local university to.
Oh, nice.
And that's tax dollar paid for. Doesn't matter if you're at public school, private school, whatever. So when I was at Sherwood, I tested out of Spanish. So they sent me to University of Milwaukee. So I had an experience at University of Milwaukee, then Xavier, then University of Washington.
Yeah.
Then coming back after Katrina, they had a consortium with Tulane, Loyola, and Xavier. So took some classes at Tulane,
Nice.
Portuguese classes from when I went to Brazil. Then I went to Brazil, did school out there.
Wow.
And so it was interesting just seeing how different people do, approach education.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Xavier, I got no complaints. Graduated
Yeah,
with no
man.
debt. Like I still got some people I'm
beat
cool
that.
with, some professors I'm cool with. And
I think that is really cool to hear though. Like because from the outside looking in, one could think like, oh, you went to a historically Black college or university. You're obviously not Black. That you're going to get some kind of a different experience than everyone else, or like that it would be exclusive to you to where maybe you don't fit in. But like, it's actually pretty cool to hear. It sounded like a pretty inclusive experience for you. One that just broadened your educational horizons, that had you go to a lot of different other places. I feel like that breaks down the barriers of, I think, some of the obstacles that we like to put in place in our minds of like how people come together. So like, I think that's super, super dope.
Yeah, I think that's largely true. I don't want to like pretend it wasn't something it's not. Obviously, when I walk in the cafeteria, like I think freshman year, it was myself, Rob, who was from Minneapolis.
Okay.
He was a senior. Then Slav and Klaas, who were from Slovakia and Sweden. They were on the tennis team.
Nice.
So like the fact that I still remember the names of the only 4 white people, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously it was like, I knew I was white. Everyone else knew I was white. Like, yeah, of course.
Right.
But no, like it was cool.
That's
Xavier
what's
was
up,
cool, man. I'm sure there was some bad experience here or there, but like I got 0 complaints.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man.
So,
well, shoot, man. I know that there's probably a lot to fill in from after your college experience to now, but one of the things I do want to hit on, maybe I'm like a low key romantic or something like that, man. I don't know. I've been together with my wife for a long time, and I always try to think of people's love story because I think that you could tell a lot about somebody based off their partner as well. And I know that you're with a young lady named Shannon. Tell me about Shannon and like how y'all came together, if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah. Shannon is awesome. And yeah, we met almost 4 years ago. So my family's still in Milwaukee. She's from just outside of Chicago.
Oh, no kidding.
She was teaching in Chicago at the time. I often will fly up, sometimes take the train, but then also will often drive up. And so especially I got a pit bull who's vicious and can't be boarded anywhere. So I'll often drive him up. And was driving up for Thanksgiving, taking him out for a walk. He doesn't like other dogs, doesn't like human beings unless it's me and a select few other people. And immediately like went up to her and I was like, a little nervous. But he Titan co-signed her, and that was the end of that.
Wow.
So we've been rocking since.
That's super dope, man.
Yeah.
That's super dope, man. I asked that question also because like I feel like there's so many different like sides of a person you can see, and I think throughout the rest of our episode, getting into the point of like telling your backstory explains without having to explain again your thought processes on certain things. So this is what we're going to do, man. We're going to move on to our next segment.
Let's do it.
Our next segment is, we call it the toss-up, man. The toss-up is just a little game we play here on this podcast. I have a salad bowl in front of me. It's got some questions in there. I'm trying to be a little artist a little bit by putting green construction paper.
I love it. You got some kale there, some mescaline mix. You
Exactly.
got, all right, cool.
But on these little construction pieces of paper, I've written some questions that I think that could help us get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not too challenging, or hopefully they are challenging enough for us to cultivate this conversation. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hand you the bowl. You pick one out, hand me whatever one you want to hand me. We're gonna do 5 questions.
Ooh, okay.
And then
in the gauntlet.
we'll see how it goes. All right.
Thank you. Let's
You can
see.
hold on to the bowl if you want to. All right. What happens to a community when people lose their connection to the land?
Whoa. Were these specifically tailored for me?
These were specifically
dope. That makes
tailored
sense.
for you. And before you even answer that question, we're going to get into it in our next segment about what you do as far as like Paradigm Gardens and what you do for the city of New Orleans and your interest in that. But this question is kind of tailored to what we know your occupation is and what you provide.
Cool. So read it one more time for me?
I said, what happens to a community when people lose their connection to the land?
So that's a big question. I'll approach one little tiny angle of it.
Okay.
So I feel like working with the land is an experience that bridges, of course, physicality, but also spirituality. There's multiple scientific studies about how it also affects mood, just in terms of your microbiome, the microbiota that you're getting while in the soil, touching things, and how that gets on your skin, gets into your body, the brain-body connection, and so that's very important. But really, is just temporally in terms of time, delayed gratification, the way that you need to plan and have long-term vision and thinking, the way that you need to forge and maintain relationships in terms of, and this is even from my point of view as someone growing in an urban environment, but this is true times 10 when you're in an urban, when you're in a rural environment.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I feel like I used to teach high school, and most of my students thought radishes grew on trees. And so just like the fact that we're so divorced from our food system, yes, I guess I don't have an exact way to answer that, but I'd say it definitely just disconnects us from, at the end of the day, what gives us life.
Yeah.
And that can't be a recipe for success.
Do you see us pulling further away from that in the future? Or do you feel like we have to be re-invited, or like, do you feel like there's going to be an opportunity for us to make a push back to like getting back to our roots as far as...
These are big podcast questions, Kev. I love it.
It's just your opinion,
Yeah, who knows what the future brings, but in terms of, I mean, on the one hand, technology is accelerating rapidly as we see all around us. On the other hand, there is backlash and there is a movement in terms of back to the land, in terms of just how people spend their dollars. But I would say I would hope that people get more connected to the land for their sake, as individuals, as families, as communities, as wider networks.
Yeah, man. I like that answer. All right, that was question number 1, bro.
Okay.
Hopefully that wasn't too times.
All right.
We got the second question for Joel on the Salad Bowl podcast. His second question reads, I've heard many people talk about sustainability. Is sustainability more about agriculture or about relationships?
Oh, I like that. Great question. I mean, both. Sorry to cop out.
No, that's good.
Actually, no.
Okay.
More about agriculture. So at the end of the day, if you don't have that relationship with the land, if you poison your water and your air and your soil, ain't nothing else coming after that.
Yeah.
And so relationships are obviously extremely important in general, and specifically in terms of how they relate to tilling the land. But yeah, I'd say the land has to come first, and then from that, agriculture. That's how we eat. That's how we sustain our bodies. If we don't have our bodies, we don't have our minds, we don't have our relationships. So I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, man, I like that, because from what I'm gathering, what you're saying that the agriculture is the foundation of what everything is built upon. Like, if you don't have that, you don't have anything.
Can't have a tree without roots.
I like that. All right, that was question number 2, bro.
All right.
I feel like these are easy for you, man. Like you got some good answers. All right, this one may be a little bit more challenging.
So you got a paragraph there. It's like a thesis paper. All right.
Right.
I thought I had 2 slips there.
All right. Everything around us seems to reward speed. Fast food, fast answers, fast success. But nature doesn't work that way. What has spending so much of your life growing things taught you about patience? And what do people lose by expecting everything overnight?
Love that question. I love how I mean this in the best way, kind of answered itself.
Yeah.
Just implicitly. That, patience is incredibly important. Failing is incredibly important. And failing over long periods and being okay with that and learning from it, which is something that agriculture forces you to do. And so in terms of like with feedback, right? If you're, for example, if you're playing basketball, if you're shooting, you keep missing left, you'll figure out why. Your elbow's a little out or whatever it is. You're not jumping. And you figure that out pretty quickly with that feedback loop.
Right.
If you are growing a new variety of corn and it doesn't come out the way you want it. Oh, what is it? Is it the spacing? Is there too much nitrogen in the soil? Is there not enough? Did I mulch it incorrectly? Is the way that I'm irrigating it differently? And that process alone took you 4 months to figure out.
Oof.
So then you got to kind of try, and it's not like you're going to fix it like that. So then, okay, you fix one variable, then you do it again. Damn, same problem. Fix another variable. It might be 2 years till you find out that answer.
Wow.
And in that time, you're wasting valuable space in terms of in your fields. But what you are gaining is that lesson.
Yeah. And that knowledge is power as far as like being able to use it for once you get it right, the rest of the time that you want to plant that thing, like you have it now. You
100%.
have the answer. If you don't mind me asking, what's been your biggest failure that you've learned from in gardening?
I don't know that it works like that. I'd say there's a lot of little ones for sure.
All right.
So the other thing is like I grow in 3/4 acre lots.
Okay.
It's all hand. It's like myself, a spade, a hand hoe. Like there's not many. Mm-hmm. Whereas my brother, he farms out with, he'll use tractors, he'll use walk behinds, he'll use mechanical tine weeders, all sorts of different attachments and different mechanical. And with those, like if you try to fix your tractor and you do something wrong and the engine blows, something wild, like that's a big failure.
Right.
I don't deal with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
On an urban scale, it's just much smaller. But I do deal with all the time a lot of small failures.
Yeah.
And so learning from those is important.
I would imagine, especially down here in New Orleans, how hot it can be outside. Just the heat, the humidity. I would imagine that those little failures still on top of the environmental struggles that this environment can bring. A little thing could probably be a straw that could break a camel's back.
Good point. So let me say this. So when I'm talking about the little failures, many of those little failures may come from another little failure, but is amplified, which is your worldview or your lens. So originally, when I first started, I didn't go to school for this.
Okay.
I went to school, education degree, nothing to do with agriculture. So a lot of reading, a lot of YouTube videos, asking my brother, which is a blessing as a resource, but also just doing it.
Yeah.
But so when I first started, it was very by the book, for lack of a better term, in terms of what you would, what you might read or find some resources on in terms of conventional.
Okay.
But New Orleans is its own environment.
It is.
Georgia is its own, in the Northeast, in the West, like all different places. And so I was just trying to basically fit a round peg into a square hole. Mm-hmm. A square peg into a round hole.
I got you.
Yeah. And so then because of that, those mistakes just compounded. And so after I kind of shifted my view and started doing more permaculture, things that were more in line with how nature grows and evolves on its own, and just trying to be a good steward instead of trying to force nature to do what I wanted to do. So I'd say that was the biggest mistake. Way to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Hopefully these questions are getting to the bottom of it.
I like it.
Speaking of getting to the bottom, man, we're on our next question, brother. We got 2 more left. All right, another paragraph.
Love it.
All right. So, we've talked about your roots in Milwaukee. You've made a life in New Orleans. You're Jewish. You love reggae music, and you spend your days raising goats and growing vegetables. That's a combination no one could really predict about you. Have you always been this comfortable being difficult to categorize?
So, one, being a white man in America, I'm pretty comfortable, just like as is. But more than that, at least as far as me personally, my parents were very comfortable. My mom is a boss lady. She was I think this is true, first woman to graduate with like a full scholarship from University of Wisconsin Law School.
Wow.
I think that's true. If not, it's approximately true. And then was single mother, then was like a law assistant or junior lawyer, but then worked her way up to partner, then started her own law firm. Then raised all of us with my dad, and so just having that example of her, she at the height she was like had 19 employees, like just her being not taking a paycheck until she is responsible for the livelihood of 19 other people. Wow. And just seeing her like that, the confidence it takes to do that. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, I didn't see the like fear that every payroll is and all that kind of stuff, which like now looking back I can admire and whatnot. But so my parents just being confident, stepping out, doing their own thing. And that was a great example. And then just like when I was younger, I always had these little hustles, whether it was like shoveling snow, cutting grass, various other things. And so just kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah.
In high school, so on the south side, which in Milwaukee is like all Mexican and fascinating, quick aside.
Mm-hmm.
So Milwaukee in the 70s is known as like the leather tanning capital of the U.S.
Okay.
León, Guanajuato in Mexico is a leather tanning capital of the world. All my family in Mexico happens to be in León, Guanajuato. All of the not all, the vast majority of the Mexicans on the south side of Milwaukee are not just Mexican, they're Mexicans from León, Guanajuato, like from that city.
No kidding.
Yeah, so there's that like cool
correlation between the two. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I take the bus down to the south side every day in the summer and pick up these like a carrito, little paleta Michoacan, the like Mexican popsicles.
Okay.
Pick those up. So it used to, like on the south side, it would be dudes would do it in the south side to hustle. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, these popsicles are incredible. No one's slinging them on the east side or the west side.
Yeah.
So I'd take the bus down. I get it. I'd walk with the cart 5 miles with my little boombox busting reggae and go to. First, I went to the Bradford Beach and the lake and everything in the white part of town. Mm-hmm. The cops got me quick.
They're like, what are you doing here, man?
Not having a permit and whatnot. So then I would go to the basketball courts where like I would usually hoop.
Yeah.
And slang popsicles, which was dope because one, I'd make some good money. Mm-hmm. And two, any popsicles I didn't sell, I'm 15, 16, I can eat all those popsicles. Yeah. My brothers, sisters, like, so that was dope. But also like when I'm pushing this little cart, scrawny little 16-year-old busting my reggae, I have all cash on me.
Oh,
I mean, so yeah, I got jumped a couple times.
Dang.
But at the end of the day, it was worth it. They never stole the popsicles.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it also speaks to your mindset as well. Like that's an entrepreneurial like mindset to be able to, even at a young age, a teenager, to say, I can get a little bit more money out of this, based off of a basic need that people actually like, popsicles, you can call it, worth it or not, but like that is a great mindset to have. And I think it formulates into who I know you to be today. Yeah.
But to your question, though, how to relate, it's just in terms of comfort.
Yeah.
I was, yes, being the only dude selling popsicles out there, like that was different. Didn't feel different. To me, it was just, I'm walking, I'm selling popsicles. Like it just seemed like a natural extension of what I had been doing.
Yeah.
And same, what I'm doing now, I get stepping back or from someone else's perspective, it might be an odd path. But for me, in the same way, you put a toad in some water and you slowly boil it and the toad doesn't realize because the water is just slowly incrementally getting hotter. And one, terrifying metaphor for our world and global warming and whatnot. Amen. But also just in terms of my path, everyone has their own unique path and it doesn't seem unique to them because you're living it every single day. So yeah, say I feel comfortable doing something different because to me it's not different.
Yeah, man. I like that answer. I like that, man. Really good answer on that one, bro. All right, we're down to the last question of the toss-up, brother.
Done. All right, we got another paragraph. I'll stick with the
we go with the short one.
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad you picked this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Reggae isn't just music; it's philosophy.
Say that again.
Yeah, reggae isn't just music; it's philosophy. What is it about reggae that speaks to you?
So, shout out to my brother, Samuel Forrest, Oswald Tilton. He put me on reggae as a kid. I used to hate reggae.
Really?
He would play it all the time. My dad got him like a Bob Marley 8-track back in the day, so he got into it. He would play, like I said, I pretty much exclusively listened to New Orleans and Milwaukee gangster rap. Mm-hmm. And he would just play, I'm like, turn that off, turn it off. We went on my mom and my brother and I would go on a road trip for spring break every year. And my mother, bless her heart, amazing human being, many redeeming qualities, but she's a talker. And so we're in the car. I brought we're like a Walkman, but I forgot my CDs.
Dang.
So my brother kept
party foul.
My brother kept offering me. He's like, hey, you wanna? No, keep that Reggie stuff over there. Like I'm good. So finally, though, my mom just kept the same story 4 times. And I'm like, run it. So
Give me the reggae.
I always it was Israel Vibration, the album Jericho, and the song Soldiers of Jah Army. Israel Vibration, incredible harmony trio. They all were in a polio orphanage in Jamaica back in the day, which is where they met.
Okay.
And from then on, it was off to the races.
Just fell in love.
That was it. So I had back in the day, along with those creative differences that we had talked about, temper issues.
Okay.
And so I'd click out that manifested in various physical confrontations, verbal confrontations, etc. And a combination of reggae music and my cousin dying really helped me mellow out and chill out. And reggae music also really helped me connect with Old Testament Judaism and really helped me like connect to my roots there.
Wow.
And so old school roots reggae is gospel in the sense of worship music largely, and protest music and other things. But yeah, so one, the rhythm and the beat, but also the lyrics and the spirituality really connected with me.
Yeah, man. So if I think I haven't experienced reggae music as much as you have, but if you had to suggest to me a good start point, an album, an artist where, like, hey, this is a good start point and maybe your journey may go further, what would you recommend?
This is will be an ongoing conversation between us. I'll send you some stuff. But honestly, just fresh in mind, Chronic's most recent album is phenomenal.
Yeah, okay.
His first album was great, Chronology, but his most recent one is dope.
Yeah, I've heard Chronology. I really liked it.
Right?
Yeah.
And Dennis Brown, known widely as the Crown Prince of Reggae. He was Bob Marley's favorite reggae artist.
No kidding. Okay.
One of the most prolific. He has, I believe, over 100 studio albums.
Wow.
But he has some amazing music. Steel Pulse.
Okay.
My personal favorite, no longer in terms of like musically, but in terms of like what he meant for me younger and growing up, is Sizzla Kalonji.
Okay.
Who was Sing J in the early mid 90s, basically taking what was dance hall music.
Yeah.
So reggae went from, how deep are you trying to get in the history of?
Okay. I'm going as deep as you want to go.
Right. So roots reggae, I'm trying to think of like what cliff notes to not talk too long about this. But so roots reggae music largely talked about was spiritual music of Rastafari and also protest music, social justice, etc. In the 80s, started what was called dancehall, which also is largely connected with the Jamaicans going over to New York and forming the basis of hip hop.
Yeah.
And it started with toasting over roots rhythms, but then started becoming more digital in the 90s and really turned into what we know as like dancehall and slackness now. So slackness is talking about guns and women and drugs and crime and stuff like that, which was big. So Shabba Ranks.
Yeah.
A lot of that early stuff. And that in the 90s was big and starting to really take over. Then Sizzla, Buju Banton, Anthony B, Capleton were a lot of these upcoming Singjays, largely of the Bobo Ashanti, one of the tribes of Rastafarianism, that use those similar, really hard-hitting digital dancehall rhythms, but with positive, conscious lyrics on top.
Nice.
And so Sizzla I was really into. My favorite group of all time is, I was about to say the Isley Brothers, the Twinkle Brothers.
Okay.
They're a singing duet from England. There's a large Jamaican community, and just because of the colonialism. So Steel Pulse is from there, huge international following, and the Twinkle Brothers as well. But I'll be sending you some music.
Yeah, man, please do. Please do. I feel like just like talking about people's stories and getting a deeper look into it, I feel like music tells you a lot about a person's mental state as well. Like, and I definitely would take a lot of recommendations from you, man. I'm big on music, and I feel like I listen to dang near. The only thing I probably don't listen to is like death metal, but like I'll do a little country, I'll do a little rock and roll, but reggae I feel like I've been slipping on for a long time, but I know that there's something special. There's a spirit behind reggae that I've been very interested about, and I would love to find out more about.
So I feel like reggae, there's two broad tracks of like reggae music that has seeped into popular culture, which is fun and party and, you know, moving, which is dope and is also part of the culture. And then roots reggae, which is very spiritual.
Yeah.
And so like that's what really personally moves and connects with me. That said, like I do know and appreciate dance hall music as well as other. But yeah, for me, roots reggae music is really where it's at.
Nice. Well, shoot, man, that actually concludes your 5 questions.
Hell yeah.
And that is the toss up, man. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and segue into our next segment, man.
Right.
Before we even segue, bro, I want to say thank you for that, because I feel like we learned a little bit more about your how you see the world through your answers. Hopefully it wasn't too challenging or anything like that.
It's great. No, great questions. Appreciate it.
But the next thing we're going to talk about, man, we're going to move into our segment called Mixed Ingredients. And the main thing I wanted to talk to you about in Mixed Ingredients was your vision and your passion project, your business, Paradigm Gardens. It is a very influential spot for New Orleans. And I know that it's doing a lot of good things. And I wanted to take a chance to just highlight what you have started and something that really just brings a bright light to our city. Can you talk to me about how this whole idea of Paradigm Garden started?
So back in 2000 and, well, let me take even a further step back. My senior year of college, Xavier campus is not so much of a campus in terms of like it's kind of built into Gertown there. And so there's different people that are living around on campus. And so one of the houses there had a plot of land that was tended by Macon Fry, the garden guy, who, if you don't know, now you know, he's horticultural royalty here in New Orleans. Yeah, shout out to Macon. He lives over in the Batcher in a house that he built by his own 2 hands, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, on like 20-foot stilts.
Wow.
Fascinating guy, very kind, thoughtful person. And so I would go twice a week just to help out between classes. And so he really got me that bug in terms of as an adult to really start growing. Then a few years later, myself and my friend at the time, sorry, still my friend, but at the time, Jimmy Seeley, we started Delachey Community Gardens along with some people in our neighborhood.
Okay.
And that was a beautiful experience. It was really dope to see this block in Central City that was pretty rough. And seeing the difference it made, just having young kids and old people come out. With the tenure the garden was there, we didn't have a single shooting on the block.
Wow.
Which was wild. And so it was beautiful just to see that buy-in with the community. But it was also fully subsidized by my teaching salary. And not to mention just like Jim and myself, our labor and know-how and whatnot. And so in that sense, it wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
So starting Paradigm Gardens, the idea was always to build something that was sustainable, not only in terms of agricultural practices, but also economically. And so a joke my brother often tells, a farming joke. Don't hold your breath. Farming jokes aren't that funny. But how do you make $1 million farming?
I don't know.
Start with $2 million. And so difficult to make any sort of living farming, especially when you're in the city.
Yeah.
Property values are much higher, plots are much smaller, etc. So from jump, the idea was always to have something that had multiple revenue streams, growing produce, selling to restaurants, having restaurants that participate with us exclusively pay membership fees, and then also creating an event space where we can host private and public events. And looking back now, I was like, yeah, of course, it's a great idea. It always seems like a great idea when it works out.
Fact, yeah.
And so myself and Jimmy started Paradigm Gardens, a lot of hard work. We dug out thousands of bricks out of the ground. You know, it's a 300-year-old city, hooked up the irrigation, electrical, etc. And big shout out to it was our original member restaurants were Ancora,
Okay.
which sadly just closed last year after 14 years. But that was Chef Jeff and Chef Bryn and Chef Adrian. Then Patois, which is still around.
Yes.
That's Chef Aaron Burgow and Jonathan Lamonaco. And then Coquette, which just closed like a month ago after 18 years. Chef Mike Stolzfitz. But he actually just opened another incredible spot called Here Today Rotisserie. Got it. But those were our 3 original member restaurants. And it would have been impossible without them. One, they were paying membership fees, which was crucial to keeping the operations, but also just having that connection with the chef world, not only in terms of growing that produce, but of having these top chefs co-sign what we were doing. Yeah. And yeah.
Man, that's an intricate vision to start off with. I mean, and I'm sure that it got pulled in a lot of different directions, but for you to land on that, I mean, that's extremely special. It actually tells the story of like when I think about storytelling, I think some of the best stories are the ones that you don't think is going to turn out the way that it's going to turn out.
Oh yeah, we had no idea. So the big up to Felicity Redevelopment. Parkway Partners is like this. I think they're now no longer around, but it was this nonprofit that would help out different gardens. They always wanted to like Delachey Community Gardens, which was the garden that we had started. They wanted to like bring us under their fold. Super nice people. Their mission was great. They did great work. We wanted nothing to do with it. Yeah. Our whole thing was like, we don't take donations. We don't take grants. We don't take volunteers unless it's like people who are on our block. Yeah. So like we just had no interest. But they were cool people. They had a greenhouse that was in the neighborhood right off Aretha Castle Haley. It was like the only one in the city, if not one of the only ones. And so they would give us greenhouse space if we would help out some of the other gardeners and then also like sort these seeds that they got and help them in other ways. So it was cool. It was this nice symbiotic relationship. Yeah. And then from there, they were connected with Felicity Redevelopment, another cool nonprofit in the area that redevelops houses for like affordable housing, but in units, instead of creating big apartments or something, in units that kind of maintain the integrity of the neighborhood. Yeah. So we just happened to be kind of in that neighborhood. They saw what we were doing. They liked what we were doing. They had this big empty lot that is now Paradigm that they were paying to, keep cut and whatnot. And so they leased it to us at a very favorable price for some years. That's awesome. And then, and at the time, now it's like, oh yeah, we were real estate visionaries. The renaissance of everything. We didn't know none of that was going to happen. It was just the only thing we had access to. Yeah. And like, it was close enough to downtown, but still uptown. But but especially at the time, 12 years ago, Central City, like people heard that and started driving another direction. Of course. So it was definitely not a foregone conclusion. Yeah. But Jim and our main skill was, well, Jim had many other skills, but our main skill in common was that we both know how to work really hard. And so we just put our heads down and here we are. Yeah, what I appreciate about what I've seen of you, man, because I haven't been there the whole step of the way. I see the result, and it seems like y'all found gold, struck oil, however you want to say it. But it seems like a guy like you, even in talking with you, you seem more rooted in doing the hard work rather than the recognition, right? Like, and I think that for a project like what you have right now, man, that is necessary to have those kind of values in order to see it bloom into what it's become. So like, you don't need any pat on the shoulder from me, man, but like, I really appreciate seeing the beautiful project that is turned into, and the way that you maintain it. Like, if it seems like you still have that day one love for this project that you did, 12 years ago that you still have now. Appreciate it. So it's definitely a blessing. So the part that people like know and see is from Paradigm, from the events, whether it was their friends getting married there, coming to one of the chef showcase, the Caribbean nights, the marketplaces, the plant sales. And it's cool. It's an honor and a blessing to put smiles on people's faces. And that's super dope in like professionally and in general. Personally, it's exhausting. And I don't enjoy people. And so what I do enjoy is having my hands in the dirt and building stuff and growing stuff and listening to reggae all day. Yeah. And so that part is incredible. And that part is what keeps me going. Yeah. The events themselves, like I said, it's a blessing to be able to put them on. But like, I got to hype myself up ahead of time to like, hey, how you doing? Welcome.
You got to put on the show.
And for better and for worse, like it's always good to get outside your comfort zone and to do stuff you don't. And once again, I wouldn't say I don't enjoy it. I enjoy the events. It's great to put those things on, but it's just like emotionally exhausting. It's taxing, and as soon as it's done, I just breathe a sigh. Like, cool, I can go to bed, wake up, and work with some plants again.
Yeah, man. Well, I think I would be making a mistake if we moved on to the next segment without talking about your goats, because I feel like your goats are one of the big highlights of Paradigm Gardens. I hear about them all the time. They're like, because I've heard you do like goat yoga and things like that on the properties. Can you tell me about raising goats on Paradigm Gardens?
Yeah, so we used to have Nubian goats, much larger goats we'd raise for milk and for meat. That was way back in the day, 12 years ago. Understandably, some patrons were not that comfortable naming a goat, petting a goat, interacting with a goat, and then a month later coming to an event and seeing like goat liver pate and goat brain butter. The chefs loved it.
Right.
But so that was a short, and we loved it just growing up in Wisconsin. Dairy, like we were getting a gallon of goat milk, raw goat milk a day, which was incredible. But so since then, and also then we use the goats in the goat area for their manure. And so I till that area once a week. We get a good amount of goat compost out of that area.
Nice.
And now we raise pygmy goats, which are mostly for their cuteness.
Yes.
Which they knock out of the park. And so we do goat yoga, we do field trips and whatnot. During COVID, my homie and business partner at the time, Akeem, we started Montessori style school at the garden.
Nice.
And the goats were featured in that heavily. The kids were digging it. Man. And so, we still do a couple field trips and whatnot, and a couple birthday parties and things like that. Sometimes some off-site stuff with the goats, but goats are cool. Yes.
Well, if you're a listener out there, or if you're viewing this episode, please go check out Paradigm Gardens. I'll put up all the information. A popular place in the city, but it's one of those places that you don't think you're going to come up on, and you show up there and it's just like you're in the oasis of good vibes, good things, good food. Like even putting the events to the side, like I've heard people talk about you like as you were building your brick oven on the garden, and just so many good stories I know stem from that place just that main spot in New Orleans, but then you also have other locations in the city that you also pull from as well, right?
Yes. First, shout out to my brother. He flew down to help build that brick wood fire oven and grill.
Wow.
So he had built one on his farm the year before.
Nice.
And it was good, but it wasn't great. But so then he came down from what he learned there. He did the plans and everything. And, I'm no master stonemason, but I'm a good assistant.
Yeah.
And Sam, Jim, and I built those ovens and grills, and it was great.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So this is what we're gonna do, brother. We're gonna segue into our last segment of the day.
Okay.
And luckily for me, the last segment of the day is for my guest.
Okay.
We call it the final bite. Now, in the final bite, really, I just give it over to my guest to give us a final bite for the viewers, and even for me, even from yourself, of like a universal, and maybe that's too heavy, but just a message that you feel like people need to hear right now. A quote, or it doesn't even have to be a quote, just something that's on your heart that you want to live forever. I don't know how long this podcast thing is going to last. I don't know how many people are going to view this episode, but it's an opportunity for the guest to leave something behind. So I'll leave the final bite to you, brother.
Cool. A lot of pressure there with the final bite. Let me see. Something that tastes good. Can't go wrong with a tried and true. When the Pharisees asked Jesus, what are the laws of the prophet? And his response was to love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. So,
man,
keep it that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful last bite, man. Final bite.
I can't take credit for it, unfortunately.
Of course not, but it's one. I think some of the best final bites are the helpful reminders, right? Because I feel like sometimes we get away from that, and for us to all recognize, or the ones that believe in that particular religion, or that's coming to that religion, to still end up with things like that, man. I think that all centers us where we need to be. So with that being said, brother, I want to say honestly, before we conclude, thank you for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you coming through. You're the type of guest that I feel like a lot of people need to hear. And it means a lot to me that you chose to spend your time the way that you spend it today with me. I know that it's Shannon's birthday today,
Hell
so
yeah.
happy birthday, Shannon. I'm pretty sure you got some things lined up later on for her, and y'all did some things this morning, man. But thanks for carving out a little bit of time.
My pleasure. Thank
to
you.
come spend with me, man. For the viewers out there, just want to say, in this episode, what you saw is an attempt to normalize authenticity. We like to choose curiosity over certainty, just like it says on my shirt right now. And I think that we just attempted to do that by two individuals who live very different lives coming together and finding out what makes this world work in the salad bowl of life. If you like this episode, make sure that you like, comment, and do all that kind of jazz. But I'm looking forward to the next episode of the Salad Bowl Podcast, and I hope that you come to the table for that. We'll see y'all later.
Boom.
You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl. You are now tuned in to the... Listen up, don't care if you about to pass out or you just getting up. You really did your thing with this one, Kevin, gotta give it up. Messages you bring and be motivation to live it up. We out here really normalizing authenticity. Can't be talking all the time cause that mean you ain't listening. I think you look better when you smile, I see you glistening. Communication helping me to see what you envisioning. Yeah, back to the mission then. Whether you black, white, brown, yellow, or green, more can be accomplished as a team. Together the problem is never as hard as it may seem. Lot of captivating convos like Martin telling his dream. We choosing curiosity over certainty. You should certainly subscribe to this one here with some urgency. This a win. Even Callie know. You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl. Salad Bowl Podcast.
It's the Salad Bowl Podcast.
You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl.
It's the Salad Bowl Podcast.
Yeah, you are now tuned in to the...
It's the Salad Bowl Podcast.
You are now tuned in to the Salad Bowl.
You are now tuned into the Salad Bowl Podcast with Kevin Thompson.